Good day. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a quotation on the new update quote window that we have created in Vehiculum. So as you can see on our Vehiculum program here, I've already opened up the quotes window for us, which as you know by now has all the quotations listed that you have previously created. So for us what we're going to focus on today is creating a new quotation. So we will click on the create button, which will then open up for us the update quotes window. Now, for those of you who have been with us for quite some time, you will realize that this window has changed a little bit after enabling and putting in the edit in place feature, which is similar to what you get in Excel. And for those of you who are completely new, well, then this is the new update quotes window, and we're going to show you how to make use of this. So right at the top, you have all your tabs on the left-hand side to enter information regarding this quotation. So vehicle information, customer, insurer information, default rates, notes, images, analysis, status, and detail lines. So I'm going to go through some of these with you, and then we're going to start our edit in place. For those of you who are completely new, for you I'm going to do some of the top tabs on the left hand side here and just run through these at the bottom. And for those of you who are watching the video just to get to know the new way of doing things, you'll see that adding the information is basically the same. It's just your default rates that we've added as well as your detail lines at the bottom here. And then also what we've changed is the way that you can input information into the quotation. So basically how you're adding your quote detail lines. Now, at the top on the vehicle, you will see that it defaults to the vehicle tab on the left-hand side at the very top. The pink fields are all required fields, so we're going to enter any registration here just for us to start. Now, the key to this new window is to mostly try and use your keyboard and to try and make you as efficient as possible with not doing away with the mouse completely, but trying to use your keyboard more as opposed to switching between the two. So after you've entered the registration, you can use the tab key on the keyboard, which will then take you to the date. If you tab again, it'll take you to quoted by, which is normally whoever's logged into Vehiculum. The quote will be then created by this person or whoever logged in. Then you'll see the last line number. You don't have to fill anything in there. The next field we're going to focus on is our vehicle selection. Now to type in, let's for instance say this is Toyota, and we can then go and just choose one by making use of your drop down arrow key. And if you have your vehicle, you can simply click on the tab button, which will then select the vehicle for you, and that moves over to the VIN number. Now, if you wanted to enter any kilometers or years, you are welcome to highlight the kilometers, and let's just enter anything there for now. If I click on tab again, it will take you over to the year field. So let's just say 2015. If I tab again, that'll take you over to the VIN number. You can choose the color for the vehicle. So let's just say, for instance, that's a white vehicle. We can go and choose that one. And then when you are done editing the information for the vehicle, you can simply use the mouse at this point in time to click on customer on the left and then enter the customer information. Now, if you are working with an individual, you have the option to go and select someone from the database if they are already a customer. As well as for customers and companies, it works the same. But if it is a completely new customer coming in, whether it be in their individual capacity or they are bringing in the vehicle for repair, but the company is going to pay for it, in which case you're going to have to create the company as the debtor as well. So in either case, either one of those cases, if it's a new customer or company, you can simply start adding the information. If it is just an individual, the window that you see here is sufficient. So you can enter first name, last name, their title, so Mr. or Mrs. or Doctor or whatever the case might be. Then you will skip the search field. You can enter a cell phone number, which you can then copy over to the phone number field, or just enter a landline, an email address, whatever information you have of this customer. Now, when you're dealing with a company, very important to first tick the box here at the top. So by using your mouse, you can tick that, which will then open up the company field for you. So it's very important, if you are dealing with a company, to first edit the information on this field and then move forward to then inserting all the information as the contact person for that company then. So for this case, I'm merely going to go to my magnifying glass, which is your other option, to choose someone from your database. So if I click on the magnifying glass, you'll see that it opens up the companies window for me, in which case I can then go and select any of my companies there. So I'm going to select company ABC, click on select, which will then bring up the customer sheet for me. So as you can see, I have two different ones there. I'm going to select that. And then you still have the option to edit any information here if you need to. So let's say this is Nelly as a first name and last name Smith. That's a lady, so we're going to call her Mrs. over here. If you have a separate, if there's already a cell phone number in here, you're welcome to change it at this point in time. If you wish to copy it to the phone number field, you can simply make use of the arrow, which will then copy the same number over. If you have an email address for her, so let's say, for instance, Nelly at telkomsa.net, you simply enter the email address, and then if you do have an address, you can enter that as well. So it's just to show you how to add your information here. If you are dealing with an insurance company, at this point in time, you can go insert your broker, insurance, and assessor. Please note that you can only choose some of these from here by making use of your magnifying glass. You can also then enter the claim or order number as well as policy number. On the right hand side, you will see your sundries, and this has to do with your parts consumables, so everything to do with parts. So normally the insurance companies allows you a 1 or 2% consumables. You can change it, as you can see that it's a white field, so you can change it from 1 to 2% if need be. And then all the parts that will be added, the sundries will work itself out automatically according to the percentage that you've inserted here at the top. Now the consumable percentage, that has to do with your paintwork. So if, for instance, the insurance company is allowing you, let's say 2.5% consumables for all the materials and things that you have to purchase, then it will also, if you input or insert a percentage here at the top, as you insert your quote detail lines with your paintwork, it will automatically work out the amount for you. Also here at the bottom, you'll see your discount percentage or amount. You are welcome to enter either one of these, but if you don't know or you're not aware of a discount that is applicable to the specific quotation, you don't need to worry, because you also have the option to enter a discount when you create the job as well as when you create an invoice. So you don't need to worry too much about that at this stage unless it's given to you previously. All right. You also have the option here of excluding your artwork from your sundries amount. So if you want your sundries percentage and amount that it works out only to be applicable on the parts, then you can tick this box, which will then exclude all your artwork entries from your sundries calculation. All right. Your default rates, and this is where I just need to spend a little bit of time with everybody as well, is excuse me, on the default stripping and assembly rate, default panel beating rate, paint rate, and then you have your paint material percentage. Now this is set up previously on your setup, as would have been done with your Veculum consultant that helped you set up your Veculum. These are your company labor rates. Now I've just inserted the 350 there on my demo model, but if you are working with a quotation where the lines might differ, or let's say, for instance, you're working with a government company like SAP, for instance, and the rates are different, then you are welcome at this stage to change those rates to whatever they are allowing you to put on the quotation or whatever they have approved. Okay, it's very important for me to also let you know that should you choose a specific insurance company, and they have their own labor rates. For instance, if I'm going to show you if I choose the Santam insurance on my demo model, then Santam rate is 230 and my rate is 350. So then you will see that it will warn us or bring up a message for us telling us that the rate is different to what we have on our default rates. Do you want to change the rates on the quotation? So I'm going to go through that with you as well. All right, now the notes section, those are just to enter whatever notes you want to appear on the customer quotation. And also if you want to make any internal notes for yourself and your colleagues working on Veculum inside the company, then everybody will be able to see those internal notes. Your images, you can use the quick add button to select images from a specific file and then add them to the quotation. Please note, even though you only see 5 blocks over here at the top, you will be able to insert as many images as needed, and you'll be able to view those by using the See All Images button over here. All right, your analysis is just to give you a little bit of a breakdown. Once you've entered all your quote detail lines at the bottom, this will just give you a breakdown of what your labor is, what your strip and assembly is, etc. on the specific quotation. Your status will then also just give you an indication when the quote was started, when it was finalized, and also when it was approved. Right, now the very last one you'll see is empty at the moment. What we've done in this specific tab is whatever you enter at the bottom as your quote detail lines, we just give you sort of a summary and a quick look at the top as to how this will look on your quotation itself should you print that quotation. All right, now moving to the bottom over here, you'll see that you have 3 options. The use update form is for our older customers. This will be to use the previous format in which we used to do the quotation. I would not advise you to keep using this as it will be falling away quite shortly. For all our new people watching the video, please, you don't even need to worry about that block, as I want you to start using the new quoting system from the start. So your next block is to keep inserting after you save. As you'll see, that's defaulted to be ticked. And then also the next one is a new line uses the same action. I'm going to take this one off first because I want to show you the difference in what it does. So I'm first going to do 1 or 2 lines without that, and then I'm going to tick that box and then add another line to show you how that works. All right. Now on the left hand side here, when you are starting out for the very first time, unfortunately, you will not have any quick add buttons here, but you don't need to worry. As you create your quotations, Veculum will sort of pick up the actions that you are using and then add them to your quick add buttons on the left-hand side. Now, there are 2 ways to insert your lines. At this point in time, you can either double click on any of the actions if you do have quick add buttons on the left to insert a specific line, or you are welcome to make use of the insert button here at the bottom to start a new line. Now also, as I'm going to demonstrate to you, we're going to create the first line. So to start off, we're going to use one of those 2 actions that I've just explained. But once you have started entering your first line, when you get to the notes section and click on the tab button on your keyboard, as we are trying to be a bit more efficient with our keyboard, you will see that it automatically starts a new line for you. So at this point in time, then you can just continue editing. So no need to click anywhere else. So I'm going to start us off. Please keep in mind that I'm just going to add some lines for us just to show you how it works, and then show you a bit of quirks here and there and what your options are moving forward, going backwards, etc., etc. So I'm going to start us off with a line of repair. So I'm going to double click on the repair action, which you will see then grays out the top section for you, and your Veculum program automatically assumes that we are now busy editing this line. That is why it has grayed out everything else, and this is where the edit in place feature comes into play. So now after we have inserted our action, we want to make use of the keyboard, so we click on the tab button on the keyboard to enter a location, and at this point I'm going to type in, for instance, front. Click on tab, which will take me to description. I'm going to put in bonnet. We're going to repair the bonnet. Tab. Now, because we have chosen the repair action, which is correcting or fixing something, you will see that the program automatically skips the parts section over here. So from here all the way up to here, and then it starts and defaults you to the panel beating columns because of the action chosen. So first of all, we're going to enter our amount of hours that we are quoting on. So let's say we're going to quote for 3 hours. And I want to just, before I tab, I want to just make you aware of the rate that you see here. Now, if you had paid attention to what I showed you on the default rates, this is our company default rates as 350. So you have the option to keep it on your default rate for this whole quotation, or if I now click on the tab button, you'll see that it is an option for me to change this as well at any point in time on any quote detail line that you are adding. So I'm going to leave mine on 350. If I now click on tab, you will see here in the panel beating columns that I have my 3 hours at 350, and Viculum works out the value for you automatically. Moving on to the strip and assembly columns, let's say we're just going to quote 1 hour there. I'm going to keep it at 350, just tab through that and you'll see that our value is 350 there. If there's any paint involved, let's say that's going to be one panel, tab, and I want to change the paint rate because 350 for a panel is quite low. So let's make it 1,050 Rand, and then click on tab and you'll see that that changes. It will not change the paint rate default for all your lines. It is just changing the paint rate for the specific line that I am editing at the moment. Now, as I've explained, we've gotten to our line total, which is 2450 according to what we've inserted here. And when we get to the notes section, you're welcome to add a note there that's going to appear on the quotation. Or if you are done, when you click on the tab button again, you will see that it automatically starts the new line for you to edit. No need to click anywhere, as I've previously explained. So let's enter another line for us here, but with a different action. So let's choose something like replace. As soon as I click on the tab button, you will see that the order column over here now has a little tick in the block. What this basically means is if you choose the action of replace or outwork, it is going to require an order to be created on the Viculum system for the Plus and Pro clients. On the light version, it will also do the same thing, but unfortunately, ordering on the light level is not an option for you. It will, however, show you the parts list so you know which parts to order at this point in time. So once I click on tab, I need to choose a location. I'm going to say front again. Once I tab, takes me through to description. Now let's say I'm going to order a bumper. Tab, and now because I've chosen replace, this will take me straight to the parts section. So at this point in time, I can start typing a supplier name, or you can make use of the buttons over here. Now, if you're happy to work with your keyboard and your mouse, you are welcome to click on the dots there, which will then open up your suppliers for you. Okay, I'm going to click on cancel quickly because I want to do away with my mouse. So I want to type and then choose from there. So I'm going to start typing and say Imperial, and then if I click on the tab button, it will open up the suppliers for me anyway. And I'm at Imperial Tiger Valley. Now, if you use your drop down arrow, you'll see, and your up arrow, you will see that you can actually scroll up and down inside this window. And should you choose Imperial Tiger Valley there, which is the one I want to select, and I click on tab, I'm just tabbing through these buttons, go to select, and you can say enter. All right. At this point in time, you can also insert a part number if you have that. If not, it's not a problem. You can just click on tab to go to the next column. Now, the type column is a must. So you'll see your little drop down arrow here. Now, again, you have one of two options. You can use the mouse to click on the drop down menu, or you can use your drop down arrow. Now, if you want to select OEM, for instance, click on the drop-down arrow again and simply click on Tab, which will then take you to the next column. So navigating through the line is actually quite easy by making use of your keyboard. And it's something you need to get used to at first, but it is a lot easier than actually using your mouse and your keyboard simultaneously. So if I click on the drop-down again, and I'm going to use a net pricing method, click on Tab. My markup, I want to make something like 25% on my parts, so I just enter a markup there. This can also be defaulted to your setup. So if your markup is a set markup working on your net pricing method of, let's say, 25% or 40%, whatever the case might be, we do set that up when we do the setup for your Veculum program. All right, now if I have clicked tab already, which I have done, I'm now in the quantity column. So obviously in this case, I only want to order one bumper, which it defaults to. Should you want to enter more than a quantity, you can simply click on the down or up. Obviously, you don't want to enter any less than one, so you can click on the little arrow here at the top, or you can highlight that and then use your keyboard to enter 2 or 3 or whatever the case might be. I'm only going to order one bumper. After I've done that, I click on tab, which will take me straight to the cost price. Because we're working with the net pricing method, we need to enter a cost price, and then Veculum will add the markup for us to get to our selling price. So let's say the bumper is 1,600 Rand to make it easy, and you will see our selling price is now 2,000. The total for this part is then shown and displayed as the 2,000 Rand here. Right, now once we are done with our part section, at this point in time you are welcome to just tab through your line and then start your next line if you don't wish to add any labor with the part on the same line item. However, you do have the option, for instance, if you are going to replace the bumper, you can tab through the panel beating, as you're not going to enter any panel beating there, but you are maybe wanting to add some strip and assembly. So let's say I'm going to quote 2 hours to strip and assemble for the bumper. So enter 2 there, keep the rate the same, which will leave you at 700, and I'm not going to add any paint here. Once I get to notes, simply press tab again, which will then start the next line for you. Okay. So now at the very top, you will see as we carry on editing that it's going to list your lines that you have at the bottom. It will show you what it will look like on the quotation right at the top. Now I'm going to show you something else. If you are busy editing, but let's say for instance you wish to change something, or I now want to go and make use of this option over here, which is something I said I will demonstrate with you. So if you are busy editing and you want to exit the line you are editing, just press escape on your keyboard once. Now once you press escape, you will see that everything else is open for you to edit or choose again. Alright, because you have now basically told your program that I'm not busy editing this line, I wish to change something else. So in this case, let's quickly tick that box. And I'm actually going to click here on the bumper one, which takes me back to edit in place. I'm going to tab through my line as I'm happy with my information. Once I get to the notes, okay, I'm going to show you how we're going to use this feature. So type replace, I'm going to say front bumper clips. I'm going a little bit faster, so you're welcome to follow me over here. We're going to choose Imperial again, click tab. Now, because I've used Imperial Tyger Valley previously, I can simply go up and press enter, which will select my supplier name. I'm going to choose OEM again with my drop down key and my net pricing method, keep it on 25%. But I don't just want one clip, obviously I want 6, so I'm going to type in 6 there using my keyboard, press on tab, and let's say my clips are 100 Rand each. I just want to keep the figure simple for all of us. Click on tab and you'll see that over here on the selling price it will be 125 per clip, and then it takes it times 6 to give you the 750. Right, I'm not going to enter anything else there. Now, because I have selected or opted to use this feature, and I've entered a line using the replace action, once I tab through my line and it started the new line, it will automatically enter the replace action for you again. Now, if I say, for instance, now I'm going to the rear section over here, And then don't worry if it's lowercase, Veculum will correct it on your quotation. And let's say we're doing something like the boot lid. You'll also see under the supplier name, because I have previously chosen the Imperial Tyger Valley one, it is basically prompting me to ask me if I want to use the same supplier again, or then at this stage you are welcome to choose someone else. Let's say I'm going to use the same supplier. Now I don't need to go and choose it. I can simply tab through my lines. Scroll down using OEM, net pricing method, 25. My boot lid will be, I don't know, let's say 1,500. And again, maybe strip and assemble. We'll quote for 2 hours. And it'll start the next line. But now, for all intensive purposes, I'm done with the replacing of the parts. I don't need to order any other parts. You can simply press the escape key once and it will remove the line you were busy editing on. Okay. If I want to insert an artwork, for instance, by using the quick add buttons, on the left hand side I can click on artwork here, double click, which will then add the artwork one for me. So just to show you this as well, if I click on tab, it will select the order column and tick the little box because, as I've explained, artwork and replace are your only two actions that will require an order from you by default. So now the other thing is, if we click on the dots, you'll see we have a line with 3 little dots there, which we can select. Then click on tab. If we have something like rust proofing, or for instance wheel alignment, which isn't anywhere specific on the vehicle, it's obviously something else to do with the vehicle. So rust proofing, for instance, will be throughout the whole vehicle, in which case you are welcome to use those 3 dots. So let's say this is wheel alignment. If we tab, what I want to make you aware of is in the type column, you'll see that it defaults to out, and this stands for outwork, and it will not allow you to choose anything else there, which is correct. Because you've chosen the outwork action, it will default your type to outwork. Now, in this case, let's say I'm not going to make use of Imperial Tyger Valley, and I can now go and select with my drop-down key. I can look for my artwork suppliers. Let's say that's, please keep in mind that this is merely my demo mode, so I'm just going to use that one. Click on enter. Excuse me, I've clicked on the wrong button there. Let's click on select. If you click on tab, it's chosen that supplier for you. So now you can go carry on and enter all your other information. If you for any reason have skipped any of your columns, which I did on purpose, I skipped the method column. So if you want to go back, there's obviously the backspace key is not going to work. So you can move backwards in your line if you click on Shift and Tab. So if you click on Shift Tab, you'll see it takes you back to the previous column. You can then make use of your drop-down arrow, enter the information, and simply click on Tab to move forward again. All right, and our markup for this might be 0%, which is also an option. Now, if I click on tab without entering the markup percentage, it will just move us to the quantity column. Let's say the wheel alignment is costing us $3.50. There's nothing else we wish to enter. Now, when you get to the end of the line, it will bring up this message for you saying that you have set the markup to 0%. Are you sure this is correct? In this case, we can say yes, we're happy with that. We don't want to add any markup. All right. Now, because we have this option ticked, you will see our next line is already listed as artwork. We don't want to do that. Simply press escape. Okay. What I've explained to you previously, earlier in this video, is that I want to show you how the rates will change if we choose an insurance company with different rates than what our default rates are. So you'll see that these will all have been listed now with your $3.50 that we had as our default. If I click there, you'll see that's our $3.50, which is our panel beating company's default labor rates. Now, if I go to the Insurer tab, and I'm going to go and choose my Santam one, which I've previously set up for us, click on Select, you will see this little window over here. Now, if you read through that quickly, it says there are items that have been loaded for replacement with different markups to that assigned by the insurer. Would you like Victim to change the defaults of the insurer automatically? If we don't want to change the markup, we can simply say no. And that will then bring up the next warning for us. And this is the one that I was aiming to get for you. So the sundries for the insurer is 1%, and on the quote, it's 1%, but the maximum amount you will see differs. And just below that, you'll see that the panel beating, strip and assembly and paint rate is 230, as I said, and ours is 350. Now, it's going to ask you, do you wish to override the quote values with the insurance company values? You can then say yes or no. If you say no, it will keep your quote as is at the moment. If you say yes, however, you will note that all our values here have now changed to the 350. I mean to the 230, excuse me, which is the insurance rates that we are working with. Okay, it's also had and changed our 1% here, which was 1%, but it's changed our maximum allowed to 800 instead of 1,000 Rand. So you will notice now that it works out the sundries for you. All right, now should we add the consumable percentage, which we don't have, we only have that first line containing paint. So now if I put in the 2.5% there and click on the tab button, you'll see that it works out an amount for us based on our paint rate over here. If I click on the default rates, you will now see that the 230 is set as our default rates according to our insurance rates. And that's why I've showed you here as well how they change. All right, if you've entered and added all the required information, you are welcome to go ahead and save your quotation by clicking on the OK button, which will then save your quotation for you. However, I just want to quickly take you to your analysis to show you what it looks like now. So you'll see that your labor for this specific quotation is set at 690, your strip and assembly is 1150, and there's your paint total. Please just keep an eye and make sure that if you are VAT registered, that your VAT is set to the 15% code. If you are not yet VAT registered, and these could be some of our light clients, then we will set up your VAT as, if you don't have a VAT registration, it will set you up automatically as a 0% VAT. So that will not add the VAT to your quotations. All right, and there's your final quote total, which will appear on your quotation. Right, if you take a look at your detail lines over here at the bottom, as I've explained previously, this will just show you everything that we've added. You can use your drop-down key to just view all the lines and make sure that you're happy with what you are seeing. If for any reason you want to change any of the lines that you've added, all you need to do is at this point in time use your mouse. So let's say, for instance, we want to change our replacing of the boot lid, and we want to add paint blending to that, for instance. We can simply click on the boot lid here on the description field, double click. You can click anywhere else on this line as well. That's an option for you. So let's click on the tab button. Okay, we're happy with our supplier. It is OEM, it is net. We want to set it to 25%. We're still happy with the quantity 1. Our price is still correct. So moving on from there, we don't want to add panel beating. We already have our strip and assemble, but we want to now add our painting. So let's say it's 0.5 for the blending as your panel. And we don't want to use the 230 rate because it is, as I said, quite low. So let's say this is now our 1050 rate. We click on tab and you will see that the 1050 times 0.5 will give you the 525 in your blending. Now on your notes here, if I click on tab, you'll see that it will not start a new line for us because we have a line already listed underneath that. So it will merely just take us to the new line but open up everything else. So it's not assuming that you are back in your edit in place feature as you've tabbed through the line that you wish to change. Now if you want to delete any of the lines, for whatever reason you're not going to do that, or you feel like you've made a mistake and you want to take out the complete line and just add it new and start fresh again, then you are welcome. Let's use the artwork one. So you highlight the line, simply click on delete, and that will then remove the line for you from the quotation. All right. Now, if you click on tab after that, you'll see that your arrow, or let's say your default to where it goes, is now blue around the move up button. If I click tab again, it will just go through your options over here until you eventually get to your days required. Now you can fill those in. Most of our Plus and Pro clients choose to do that, but you are welcome to leave it at 1 if you wish to. If you click on tab again, you'll see that you are now on the OK button. Now, should you wish to save the quotation, you can simply press enter. And this, don't worry, you will most probably not get. This is just me changing my contact for my specific company. So it's asking me, would you like to add another contact for the company? I can just say yes, which is fine. Right, then you will most likely always get this warning telling you that the day set as by the quota is 1, as you will see here. But Veculum is calculating that the job might take you more or less 3 days. So you have the option of choosing yes or no. If you don't want to change it to 3 days, you can simply say no. If you want to change it, then you can say yes. In which case, after that, because we have chosen the SMS option, and this is mostly for our Plus and Pro clients, you can at this stage choose to SMS your customer or not. And once you've gone through all your messages and all your options, it will then save your quotation to the quotes window as you see there right at the top. It will always put your new quotation that you've created right at the top and show you the status that it is in. So ours is listed with a little green car because we have just finished creating our quotation. We still haven't gone through the process of finalizing it, approving it, etc., but that will all be in a different window. Right, so you are welcome to go and take a look at this video on our docs page, or if you want any other information, you're welcome to give us a call on 087-828-0123 and ask for one of the Veculum consultants. If you want us to explain anything to you, you're welcome to give us a call and just tell us with which window you are requiring assistance with. Or you are welcome to go and look at our docs page, where you can also view this video that we've created, which is docs.veculum.com. Right, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that it's been quite insightful. And as I said, if you had any questions, please feel free to contact us. Thank you. Bye.